What's up guys, Sirius here, and today I'm going to be talking about the skins in Hearthstone that have just released recently. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and roll that footage, and thank you for tolerating this extremely long video. What's up guys, Sirius here, and I am going to finally get into a topic that I said I was going to get into a while back, but I didn't because I got caught up in my free-to-play series. The next episode of that, episode 4, is going to be coming out soon, here in the next few days. I just have to get all the editing done for it, but all the footage is recorded, but I just need to get the script finalized and all the editing done. Anyway, into the topic at hand, the class portraits that you can purchase for Hearthstone. I'll save my opinion for the end, aside from a little bit. Instead, I'm going to start off with the opinions of various people from the Hearthstone community, from the various Facebook groups that I'm in, specifically Worldwide Edition and the Inn, both very large Hearthstone groups. If you want a good set of people to be with, both of them have very good sets of players, a lot of players that are in the upper ranks and Legend that can help you figure out what you want to do, some good streamers, etc., etc. With that said, let's go ahead and get in to the topic at hand. First of all, we have King Magni Bronzebeard, who is a replacement for the Warrior class, Illyria Windrunner, who is a replacement for the Hunter class, and Medivh for the Mage class. Now, I personally am 100% fine with every single option they had here. The only other, major mage options they had would have been, say, Ronin or Agewin, but Agewin would have been another female and human that people would have gotten kind of aggravated about, and Ronin, probably, people would have been aggravated about him too, because even in the Kirin Tour, he's still basically Alliance. Medivh is neutral, so that's fine. Illyria, instead of being allied with the Horde, is Alliance, and same with Magni, instead of being Horde, it's Alliance. So that's fine. The races get changed up as well, that's fine. They're very good representations for their class. I'm 100% fine with the choices that they made. Now, on the concept as a whole, let's go ahead and see how various people feel about these new classes. First off, we have Matthew Martell, and he says that, "No sir, I don't like it. Overpriced aesthetic changes that cannot be earned with in-game gold." So, in his opinion, they are overpriced, and because they can't be earned with in-game gold, that is an issue. Personally, I agree and disagree with that. It is overpriced, don't get me wrong. As a consummate player of League of Legends, I believe that a League of Legends skin gives you infinitely more to play around with than this does. As far as just straight aesthetic changes, I do agree that it's overpriced, but I don't agree that it should be able to be earned with in-game gold. However, you do sir have a good point. It is overpriced, and it should have... There should be some of these that are earnable with in-game gold, just like how League of Legends has some free skins that you can get. I feel like that would be a good way to go about it. But with that said, we can go ahead and go into the next one, which is Anton Elliott. Says it allows people that don't play ranked to get an animated hero skin, and that's a good point. I actually hadn't thought about that point before. Players who don't like to play ranked, but they still want to get the same type of portrait that you get from the gold portraits. It's not entirely the same, but it's fairly similar, and I do like that point. I do like the point that players who don't feel like playing ranked but are still fine throwing money at the game, they can get an animated portrait, and that gives Blizzard money and allows the game to stay free to play. That's a good point. I agree with that. Next point would be from Tommy Pierce. And he says, "Too much money. If it was like $3, then woo, and not $10. It's kind of like the same point that Matt brought up earlier. It is too much money. It is $10. Instead of $3, though, I feel like maybe like 5 or 6, maybe even 8. Just shave off the $2 at the end. Just something like that. I feel like those would be better options than 10 for the to be honest, very sparse amount of aesthetics and voice work that goes into these. But hey, it's still the same point as before, and I can 100% agree. It does cost a little too much, so that's all right. That said, if my cat is bothering you in the background, I'm sorry. I have pets. They're demanding. Anyway, the next point is actually jumping from Worldwide Edition. We're going to the Hearthstone Inn, and Eli Robinson. My top reason for liking the hero skin is that it will add diversity to the voice acting on the ladder and freshen up classes for players. My top reason for disliking it is obviously the cost. So, again, we have the same thing. The cost is too high. A lot of players are thinking that the cost is a little too much. But we do have a positive one. It is, it adds diversity to the game, and that is fine. Hearthstone is a very, let's be 100% honest, it is a very sparse game. It has very little within itself for you to do. You can play the card game, you can play Arena, and that's about it. You have 9 classes to choose from when there's 11 classes in WoW. Like, there's a whole lot to flesh out for the game, but it's still new. It's 2 years old. Think about Yu-Gi-Oh! Think about Magic. Think about Vanguard. Think about these games that when they first came out, they were not big, and they didn't have a lot. They just had their game and their tournament. It took a while for Magic to develop separate game archetypes, and half of them were developed by players, like having Cube, and then when Wizard responded and did Tower. But that's getting off topic. The game still has room to grow, so I do like that a little bit is added into it. Matt Lowe, who, if you remember right, I've done some friendly matches with, or you can see those videos on the channel as well. He says, I hate how Garrosh looks. It's very sparse, but hey, that's fine. A lot of people don't like Garrosh. Garrosh is actually, like, fundamentally, he is a very unlikable character. From the get-go, he did many things in World of Warcraft that people were not happy with, and I do know some people, as petty as I may believe it is, who personally will not play the warrior class because they do not like how Garrosh interacts with other characters within the Warcraft lore, and that's 100% fine. Everybody has their reasons. There's some people in Yu-Gi-Oh! Who won't play certain decks because they think that they're too easy. There's certain people in Magic who won't play Control because they think it's degenerate. It's fine. Everybody has their own reasons. And having the ability to play Warrior and still play a character that you might relate to a little more is actually pretty good. I like that. Next, we have a pretty long one. It might not fit into the box right up there, so we're going to just scroll through it and make that work. We have Sarah Louise and... Sarah Luan, there we go. I don't want to say the last name because I'm 100% certain that I will screw it up. Honestly, I feel, or let me start this again. I honestly would be more excited if it were different classes, but I think the warrior class would be a lot better with the new skin. I just don't like Garrosh, or whatever his name is. And I see why other people see negatives about it, and I just see the potential with what the money will help and support and grow. They can't continue to bust out content, new games or whatever, what else without making money, and I, with what, okay, this is probably written on a phone. I am sorry, Sarah, if I'm butchering the things that you have typed. There's a few errors in it, at least as far as it on screen being read back from me back into a microphone. There's obviously something being lost in translation. But from what I've seen from Blizzard, I enjoy what my money is being spent on. So will I buy the new skins? Not sure, but if I did, I wouldn't feel ripped off. There is my needy cat. Hello. How are you doing, Akane? So, Sarah's point is sort of a neutral point. She's more excited if it were new classes, but she completely understands that sometimes Blizzard can't just throw out content willy-nilly, and I 100% agree with that. It is nice to get little spurts of content, because, I mean, we just got Blackrock Mountain, so we did just get a big burst of new content that has had a decent impact on the game with Patron Warrior, and Gang Up Rogue, and Tempo Mage, and various of the things that didn't completely function. Well, Patron Warrior didn't even exist, but it's a warrior option that is not as costly as Control Warrior. So, Kane, I love you. I really do. But, like, you don't want all this attention, because as soon as I give it to you, you will be aggravated. Anyway. So, I agree with the point. Blizzard can't just throw out new content every month. They really can't. It's not cost effective. It's not effective for the player base, because then you start to expect that content, and as soon as there's a lull, people start going crazy. Like, people go mad when there's a lull in World of Warcraft, so just imagine what would happen in Hearthstone if they were just like, new set, new set, new set, new set, and then nothing for like 6 months. That would make people go crazy. People who are used to competitive card games are 100% used to the 3-month standard. Every 3 months, a new set will be released. For Yu-Gi-Oh, that just means a new set is out. For Magic, that means we're closer to getting rid of a block. So, with that said, I agree. Blizzard can't constantly push out new content, and having little bits of content that can keep people invested, that's fine. And hey, when these came out, they released tavernbrawl with it. So they actually released beefy content with this as well. But at time of these comments, the tavernbrawl had actually not been announced yet. So that's fine. Next point, again from the end, is Peter Chong. I like the new skins, personally. I personally like the new skins because there's choices between which heroes for one class you can play as. Each hero's skin will have new animations as well, so if you don't like Garrosh, you could choose Magni, but I disagree with the price of $10. If Blizzard were going to make the price $10, they should have at least added some exclusive class cards for the specific hero skin for the $10 as well. I 110% disagree with that. I don't believe that in this game any content at all should forcibly be pay to own. Content. Now, content and aesthetics are two different things, so please take that comparison and put them together. Do not put them together. Content is not aesthetics. Aesthetics are not content. I'm fine paying extra money for aesthetics. I'm fine doing that. And I'm fine paying money for stuff that I could earn in the game 100% by myself, as with gold, arena runs, stuff that you can do in Blackrock Mountain and Naxxramas Haikane. I am 100% fine paying money for that instead of paying gold, but I'm not fine with, say, if I wanted to play a particular type of warrior deck, or let's say the card is a universal card for all warrior decks. Yes, Connie? Let's say that the card was a universal card for all warrior decks. You would need to then purchase Magni, so $10, the same price that I could buy 7 booster packs with, to get this one card. So for a hero portrait, which is realistically a value of like $3 or $5, I'm personally fine with paying, a little more than that, and you get that, and then you get the value of 1/5 of a booster pack. Granted, you guarantee one of those cards, but still, I do not think that is the right way to go. I do think that they are too expensive. I 100% agree with that. That topic has been brought up a lot, but I do not at all think that it should come with a class card. No. Because then, if I were to play every class, and let's say they released multiple skins, then to play every class, and to be able to play every class competitively, I would need to have every skin of every class, and if they're $10 each, let's say they released just 2 skins for every current class, I would be spending upwards of $200 for 18 cards. 18 cards that may or may not be seasonal cards. Like, I personally cannot see that as a viable option. But, now we have Tony O'Brien. Anything that doesn't affect gameplay is fine. I guess, though, my overall opinion is that microtransaction systems are cancer. I'm going to have to agree and disagree with this. Anything that doesn't directly affect the gameplay is fine. This is why things like skins in League of Legends, combo packs of champions, and, aesthetic skins in this game, 100% okay. I'm fine with them. However, I do not think that microtransaction is cancer. If you have a correct microtransaction system that does not infract on player choice, then microtransactions are fine. League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, Dota, and actually, honestly, this game as well, and any card game, if you've ever played a card game in your life, truthfully speaking, any card game in your life is literally just a microtransaction system. It really is. So, I personally have no issue with microtransactions. The things that I do think, if you play a lot of mobile games, now those types of microtransactions for mobile games and for Facebook games and stuff like that, I feel like that is the type of microtransaction system that is cancer. That is the kind of microtransaction system that if I were to implement that into a game that is considered competitive at all, a la what happened with one of the most recent Dead Space games, where you could buy the guns to get through the game, like that's bad. I've already paid $60 for the game. I don't need to pay $3 for a gun. That doesn't give me anything except, more ammo. That's bad. That is honestly money grubbing. It is one thing to be a business. It's another thing to be a business that legitimately cares about its customers. And I honestly feel like Blizzard does legitimately care about its customers, so no, I don't think that this type of microtransaction is cancer. I really don't. It's not like, oh, you've done 200 games in Clash of Clans. Maybe you should pay some money to do 50 more. It's not that. It's not that bad. So I don't agree that it is a bad microtransaction system that they are moving this game towards. I honestly, I'm glad to see that WoW progressed a little bit with its microtransaction system that allows it to work without being paid to play for everybody. So, I'm fine seeing more microtransaction in freemium games, but I spent a lot of time on a very short point. Let's go to the next one. We have Alexander Miskill. Please, no bashing at all. Opinions are fine, but please keep it civil or else we will have to intervene. We appreciate the discussion, adding to the group. We just want to make sure everyone else feels like an equal part here. I'm fairly certain this means that there were some comments here that are missing, that I was not aware of and didn't receive as notifications on my phone. So maybe that happened at some point. I don't know. But anyway, so no bashing. That's not a that one's not a point. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. $10 per hero for cosmetics is poor value from Noel Chrysostomo, I guess. again, I'm terrible at pronouncing names, so I apologize profusely if I'm messing this up. But $10 for hero cosmetics is just poor value. Maybe that works in the US and other well-off countries, but that amount is half the daily wage of my new hires, and I work in an industry that pays well at the entry level. But I guess we never were a huge market for profits to begin with, so ... I can agree. Again, it's the point that's been brought up 1,000 times, and it's been beat into the ground now. Not just in these comments, but like all over Reddit and just in forum posts and in interactions with my friends online. I've had this discussion repeatedly that it's just bad value. It's not worth $10. It is good. It's good for the game. It's good for the health of the game, but it is not worth $10. And I don't know what country you're in, Noel. If you want to tell me at any point, that is your prerogative. That is not the business of me or anybody else watching this video. However, at my job, I make a decent bit more than $10 an hour. I make more than $10 an hour. So I could afford this skin easily if I wanted to, but I still would not purchase it for $10. So I agree. I agree that, you know, even though the market is obviously the United States, this is where Blizzard is located. They're not taking into account there are some countries where people do very much enjoy their games, but don't necessarily have the money to put into something that really doesn't give them anything. So I agree with that. That is a good point, even though it is another iteration of a point that has been beat into the ground like nobody's business. So let's go up to the next one. John Anthony. I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try for all the aforementioned reasons. I like it because it's additional features to the game. Whether it's a small update or not, it's still a plus. Also, I mainly play Warrior and Warlock. I still prefer my Golden Garrosh, though, over the Dwarf guy. I'm also collecting all the card backs. I have all the card backs except the Golden Celebration, China server only, and that's why I feel obligated to have it. Any additional thing in the game is a plus in my opinion. Alright, so we have another positive here. Somebody who is a collector, and I can see the side of that, because I'm a collector of certain things. He likes it because it's an additional feature, and it's something else he can collect in a game that is already heavily built on collecting things. So I agree. I don't have anything else I can say about that. I agree with the point. It's more stuff in the game, it's more stuff to collect. It's good for that. So, yeah, it's a long point, but there's not much I can say about it, so we'll just go on to the next one, which is Josh Man. The new skins are a cool addition that I knew were going to happen. I think I would love it if they were $5 a piece, but it's $10. It's too steep for something that is strictly an aesthetic. So, again, we have the point that has been beaten to the ground repeatedly. It needs to be $5, or it needs to be $8. It needs to be less than $10. So, and this point is being beaten to the ground, guys. This is the opinion of your player base, Blizzard. So we go Next, I dislike the concept of this because it adds too little content to the game, which doesn't even improve gameplay in a significant way. The price is too high, and if it were $5, it would be alright. From Jacob, again, I am not going to try. So, again, we have the same point. It's too little content for the game. It doesn't bring anything into the game besides itself, and I have to agree and disagree with that. But again, remember, these comments, what is this, June 8th, I want to say? Yes, June 8th. So these comments are before Tavern Brawl was officially announced. So you cannot take every single one of these comments on the lack of content side, take them with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, these comments were before we knew that Tavern Brawl was going to be a thing, before we knew that these skins were going to come out, and they were going to come out with Tavern Brawl with them. So there was a bit of free content that came in at the same time as these skins did. And also, remember with that free content, you got a booster pack as well. So I can understand at the time of writing to dislike the concept because it added no content to the game, and Blizzard was pushing it as a major update. I 100% agree with that. But again, at time of writing, he didn't know about Tavern Brawl. We didn't know about Tavern Brawl, so I can't say anything past that. $5, however, that's, you know, again, $5, $8, somewhere around there. Something less than 10. Just beaten to the bush. Next one is Josh Monks. There are 5 main ways for developers to make money on the game, or some combination of the 5. 1. Oh, I have to see more for this. Holy, this is a big post, guys. We might have some stuff here. So, we have 5 main ways. 1. cost to buy, like a console game. 2, subscription, like WoW or most MMOs. 3, invasion freemium content, like Candy Crush or Castle Clash, or Clash of Clans. 4, non-invasive freemium content, like League of Legends, as we've said before on the video. And 5, ads, usually in the form of free games that you can unlock by spending more money that removes the ads. Now, let's not have that in this game, please. No. Anyway, in the case of freemium content, there are games where spending less lets you bypass, or spending money lets you bypass parts of the games you otherwise couldn't, or gives you an unfair advantage over non-paying players. Non-invasive content is more about cosmetic changes that will give you unfair advantage over non-paying users. This is the customer's way to support the game without obligating them to spend money and remain competitive. If we are going to have one revenue system over the rest, I would choose non-invasive content every time. Remember that games aren't free to make, and that people who make them, we're gonna have a bit of an issue here. We can't actually get lower in the comments. How am I gonna do this? Do that. No. That makes it even less. Keep accidentally clicking my Hearthstone. That's not what I want to do. Okay, well. That. This lets us get to everything. Okay. Finally. Now, try to support games that you play, and see this as an opportunity to use your voice to support the games you play a lot. Because it's free compared to most games does not mean that it's cheaper to produce or maintain. My handle online is that part is completely irrelevant to the point of the post. So I agree with that. I really do agree that I want non-invasive freemium content, and that's why I disagree with the post earlier that wanted there to be class cards that came with this. I really did not want there to be class cards that came with this. I feel like that would just be super expensive for literally nothing. I'm fine paying for nothing if it's a nothing that's pretty and I can do stuff, but I'm not fine paying for nothing if it's a nothing that I absolutely require. And like, I don't know. I don't want to jump around. I already used up like an extra 30 seconds trying to figure out that issue there 2 seconds ago. So I really don't want to screw up and go on a tangent. So I won't. This is my simple way. I agree. I do not want non-invasive. I do not want invasive content in my game. Move on to the next one. Eric O. Delec, and I believe this is our last one. Yes, this is our last one. New look is always nice. Definitely not buying the warrior one, but maybe others if I like them. So, yeah, it's just an opinion. I can't say anything on that because that one is strictly an opinion based on what somebody else wants. They do not want the warrior one, but they might want others. So, again, this is also before the Medivh and Illyria ones were released. So, if you didn't like the warrior one, that's fine. You might want the Illyria one. If I were to spend money on one, I would probably pick the Illyria one and also the Medivh one, because personally I like Medivh more than Jaina. The way that Blizzard has treated Jaina in the lore right now, she has become a very, I don't want to use the word disgusting, but a very unfun character to be around, whereas Medivh has always been sort of a fun character, and even though he was a douchebag for a very good reason, whereas Jaina was like, I'm just going to go be like my father. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and go into my personal opinion on these guys. I personally think, and you've probably gotten the gist of this throughout everything, but I personally think that content like this is 100% fine. I want to see more of it. I want to see more of it come into the game to support the game when the game can't get new stuff. But I don't want, for instance, like, if I go into the shop right now, and I look at what I can get, things I am fine spending money on that I need. Adventure stuff. I'm fine with that. $25 for an adventure. If you play Yu-Gi-Oh!, that's a little more than the price of a tin. And an adventure is literally a tin. 5 guaranteed cards, or 4 or 5 guaranteed rare cards, and then a bunch of common stuff that may or may not be guaranteed is how a tin works. So all guaranteed stuff that is common, uncommon, and rare, that's good. That's fine. That's how a tin works in that game. That is a good way to bring that concept into this. If you were to relate it to Magic, if you're a Magic player, then the adventure modes are the equivalent of having an event deck. An event deck is it's higher than what a starter deck is. It contains many tournament viable cards, and it's only like $10-$20. So It's 100% like an event deck, and it's 100% like a tin. It's not quite the same as either one, but I really like that. I'm fine spending money on booster packs. I'm fine with that, because that's a concept that has been in card games for the past 25 years, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It is a concept that is tried, true, it makes money, and players like it because it's like playing a mini lottery every time. It's good. Things that I do not like being forced to pay for. Being forced to pay for a skin, and we're not, thank God. But if we were forced to pay for a skin to get cards, it would be like saying, hey, I know that you want to go into this tournament, and I know you want to succeed, so for you to succeed, you have to buy Player's Choice card backs, or card protectors, rather. You can't buy Ultra Pro, and you can't buy Dragon Shield, and you can't buy KMC. You have to buy Player's Choice. A lot of professional players really like Player's Choice. I personally don't like Player's Choice. But if I was told that I had to have that in order to play in a tournament, I would probably slap the venue holder and just walk away before the cops came. Like, not even gonna lie, that is 100% how that scenario would play out. So I'm fine with this being non-invasive content. I am. I'm fine with how they are. Although, personally, I very much would prefer if they were not animated. Now, the reason is that if you're gonna work for your gold hero, I feel like you shouldn't be able to pay money for it, but that may be just a nitpick. I feel like if you're paying $10, maybe it's worth having animated, but if it was $5 and not animated, then that would be good. That would be fine. Take the animation off, make the animation earned like every other animation, and make it a little less costly for the player. I would love to spend $10 and get all of these. Like, I'm a big player in Super Smash Bros. Not a big player. I play a lot of Super Smash Bros. And I'm a tournament operator in Super Smash Bros. But I am not a big player. However, all the DLC for Smash Bros. I've been 100% fine with. It's either been aesthetic changes to Mii's that I could care less about, and most people could care less about, or it's been characters that you can choose to play. And those characters, I have to have them because I'm a TO, and for my for my tournament to run, I absolutely have to have DLC characters because certain people will want them. But I'm fine with, you know, stuff that is 100% optional, and then the stuff that you get tons of value out of. People have tried to harp on the game saying that $4 for a character is too much, and I'm just like, look, for $4, if I were to buy Ryu and I were to play Ryu, and I were to play Ryu for 100 hours of practicing tournaments, friendlies, etc., I would have gotten 100 hours worth of entertainment out of $4. That's just like, that's good. That is good value for your money. Whereas these guys are not good value for your money. They're not good value at all. But they're still good for the game. Do not get me wrong. These are good things for the game. This is good for Hearthstone, this is good for Blizzard, and this is good for the players. This is stuff that is in the game that will allow it to maintain its free-to-play status, and I am 1000% on board with it. Even if I'm not going to purchase any of it as of right now, something might happen, and I will go out of the way and purchase them all, and I don't know. I've done it with League before. I've said I wasn't going to spend money on it. I think I've spent $400 on that game, so I can't say anything. I'm not saying I will never purchase these. I am saying that at time of speaking, I will not. So, anyway, there's the opinions of the player base that I've talked to, and there's the opinions of me. I am 100% for it, even if I will not be purchasing it. And with that said, I think that's pretty much all the information I can cram into this video. It's a very busy video at right now clocking in at 28 minutes. I apologize for the length, guys. If you've been here, I'm very happy. Thank you for sticking around for the entirety of the video. I'm going to be announcing something in another video here soon, but if you stuck to the end of the video, I feel it's worth it to go ahead and put it in. For my free-to-play users, I'm going to be announcing this in the free-to-play user video and in another video after that in case people don't watch that one and don't see it. But I'll go ahead and throw it out for you guys now. I'm going to be doing a series, starting out with just one, a series of free-to-play tournaments here in a bit. These are tournaments that are going to be 100% geared for free-to-play users. They will only award 2 packs at the end, but 2 packs is still enough for you to have a lot more than you did when you started. The tournaments will be, at time of writing, they will be basics plus 200 dust. So what that means is you will have access to all the basic cards in the basic set, and you will have access to 200 dust worth of extra cards. So 2 rare cards, or 5 common cards, or 1 rare card and 2 common cards, however you feel your deck would best operate. And the reason I want to do it that way is as a free user, you are guaranteed 245 dust. If you were to dust all the cards and all the packs you got in the very beginning, you would have 95 dust from disenchanting them, and you would have 200 dust from those packs. So you are guaranteed, no matter what, to have the cards you need to participate in this tournament. So it's 100% on you as a player to be able to form the best deck you can. So no legendaries, no epics, very few rares, very few commons, mostly basics. So hopefully we'll get a decent turnout for players, and I know the prize pool is going to be small, but I'm running this entire thing from the side of my house, so I'm doing what I can. This will be something for the free users that will be a boon to them, maybe. I know that when I was not paying for this game, getting 2 booster packs randomly would have been amazing, and hell, you might even get a legendary out of it. I would definitely recommend sending me pictures of what you get from these packs whenever you're finished with the tournament, whoever wins. I'll be announcing a date soon, and I'll be announcing the format soon. It's probably going to be Conquest, but I don't know, so we will see. That said, this is Sir from Top Tier Scrubs, signing out, and thank you for staying with me for the last half hour. Hey, if you're here, then you made it to the end of the video. If you like the video you watched, then you should probably hit the subscribe button. You'll definitely find more of those videos if you do that. You'll see them come up whenever they're done. That said, if you also want to see any more of my content, I'm starting a series called Hearthstone, a free-to-play adventure, and I have the first episode, which is just how to get started on Hearthstone. It's there in the lower right-hand corner. And if you have any comments for me, you should probably say them in the comment section. You know, that. So without further ado, this is Sir from Top Tier Scrubs signing out. You should totally do those things. Those things I said to do. Yeah. Those. That's still running.